As a bevy of Florida Gators fans were taking photos Saturday with the three statues of legendary UF quarterbacks erected in front of the swamp, I threw out a comment as I walked by just to see what the reaction would be. "They're going to have to build a fourth statue soon," I said. Responded one of the fans, "Damn right. Is going to be the best of them all not wanting to get into a pregame debate with a bunch of giddy Gators before Florida faced No. 20 Kentucky." I just smiled and kept walking. Don't get me wrong, I think Anthony Richardson is an immensely talented and athletically gifted quarterback. In fact, he'll even go as far as to say he is more athletically gifted than the three quarterbacks depicted by UF stadium statues, Steve Spurrier, Danny Wuerffel, and, yes, even Tim Tebow. But as we saw during Florida's 26-16 setback to Kentucky, a game that essentially was lost by Richardson's crucial mistakes, Gator Nation now knows there's more to being a great quarterback than being athletically gifted and being a human highlight reel. Anybody who thought Richardson's eye-popping first game in Florida's upset of Utah merited him being mentioned in the same breath as UF's all-time greats now knows better. Isn't it funny how we're all prisoners of the moment? Last week, Rhys Plumlee was being lauded by UCF fans, but after Friday night's loss to Louisville, many in Night Nation were calling for backup Mikey Keene to replace Plumlee. Florida State coach Mike Norvell is the toast of Tallahassee after beating LSU last week, but if the Noles hadn't blocked the extra point on the last play of the game and had lost after blowing a 14-point lead in the fourth quarter, Norvell's seat would be pretty toasty right now. Likewise, Richardson was being mentioned as a Heisman candidate and the No. 1 overall draft pick after the victory over Utah, but now, not so much. As we know now and should have known before, Richardson is a work in progress and, quite simply, is going to make mistakes and endure massive growing pains. Before Saturday night's loss against Kentucky, I had a conversation with Shane Matthews, one of Florida's all-time great QBs and now the color analyst for UF's radio broadcasts. "That was a great start against Utah," Matthews said. "Anthony needs to continue to show that he can be consistently efficient throughout the season." On Saturday night, Richardson was about inconsistent and inefficient as a quarterback could be. He completed just 14 of 35 passes for 143 yards and no touchdowns. More damagingly, he threw two crucial interceptions that Kentucky turned into touchdowns, one a pick six by Kentucky defensive back Keidron Smith and the other when Richardson threw the ball right into the hands of Kentucky defensive lineman Jordan Wright, who returned the ball 18 yards to the UF 6. The Wildcats, with the help of a roughing the passer penalty, scored 4 plays later. If the Gators are going to excel this season, Richardson doesn't necessarily need to make game-winning plays, but he simply cannot make game-losing ones. He has to be much more accurate and much less mistake-prone. His passing against Kentucky was atrocious, imprecise, and lacked touch. A distraught Richardson, to his credit, didn't duck the media and answered every tough question during his post-game news conference Saturday night. "I have to play better. I feel like I let everybody down," Richardson said. "I missed a couple of wide-open shots and I lost my confidence. We lost and I feel like it's completely on me. I take full responsibility." UF coach Billy Napier looked at Richardson's poor performance philosophically. "He's a young player," Napier said. "It's only his second start of his entire life in the swamp. I mean, he started this season with very minimal experience, right? How many lessons is he going to learn in actual games? That's part of the game of football and the game of life. You're going to experience mistakes in life. Ultimately, the most growth in life comes from the most difficult struggles. The game of football is no different. Anthony is going to grow and learn from this. Isn't it amazing how perceptions can change in the span of 7 days?" Last week, there was all the Heisman-esque hype and hoopla surrounding Richardson after he led the then-unranked Gators to a victory over then No. The play he made on the 2-point conversion against the Utes was amazing. He pump-faked and made 2 Utah defenders look like puppies on linoleum and then spun, rolled out and found a wide-open receiver in the end zone. He also looked superhuman and made Utah's defense look helpless when he effortlessly took off on a 45-yard touchdown run. As Napier said about his team and his quarterback after the win against Utah, "Let's not put a crown on the Gators or Richardson just yet. In 1 week, Richardson morphed from a poised, confident, electrifying quarterback into a rattled, shaky, inexperienced quarterback. It was easy to see why everybody was so excited about Richardson's dynamic performance last week, but as we saw on Saturday, it's time to pump the brakes on hiring a sculptor and putting him on the same pedestal as the great Gators of all time. Visit OrlandoSentinel.com. Distributed by Tribune Content Agency, LLC.